Many of you have been enduring standardized tests, competing in playoffs, and completing final projects. Now you've made it to the last advisement of the year. We invite you to sit back and enjoy this year's final show. I'm Quinn Von Haney. Welcome to The Deck.
A few weeks ago, Close-Up students took a trip to Washington, D.C., but it wasn't the trip alone that helped freshman Hannah Boykin further her dreams. It was the fundraising. She raised money by sewing and selling scarves. My partner Morgan Johnson and I found out how she earned over $2,000.
When I was about 11 or 12, I decided that I wanted to be a fashion designer.
Hannah's father remembers her aspirations from a very young age.
I think it's pretty cool. She wanted to get a sewing machine for Christmas before last, and we were kind of wondering whether she really was interested and going to carry through with it, or if it was just kind of a whim.
I really want to go to college and study fashion design, and I think that this is a really good place to start because it's kind of a small business right now.
Hannah's small business was started, all to raise money for her Close-Up trip to Washington, D.C.
I was pretty impressed by Hannah's fundraising this year. We have some students that have tried several fundraisers and might have raised $100 or $200, but Hannah was able to raise well over $1,000 this year. Primarily, she said she raised the most through selling scarves.
We spoke with Hannah after the trip to see how she felt about her fundraising.
My parents kept telling me, we want you to raise this money on your own. We don't want to be just the parents who pay for it and you don't have to do any of the work, because they wanted me to, when I went to DC and got to experience DC, they wanted me to feel like I, belonged there, like I had done the work and that it was definitely a rewarding experience, and it was.
For The Deck, I'm Joseph Perkesh.
Junior Austin Gates has been riding bikes for more than 5 years. My partners, Quinn Von Haney, Connor Austin, and I find out who motivates him to continue riding.
Austin Gates picked up his first BMX bike 5 years ago. At that time, he had no idea that he would advance as far as he is today. After more than half a decade of riding, Austin has become an expert rider who is constantly improving.
Learning how to maneuver a bike is easy. It's the special skills and abilities that set BMXers apart.
As Austin has improved, it has brought him closer to his father, who is also a bike rider.
I would say BMX is probably the one thing as he's matured, I'm saying, that we bonded with, He started when he was 12. We started racing when he was 12. And so we've just been simpatico with it ever since then.
Once I turned 12, it kind of departed me from my mom, but also it got me close to my dad, and we both relate a lot more.
Austin is also influenced by his friends, many of whom ride as well.
My friends influenced my riding by kind of motivating me to try hard tricks and ride harder, and they tell me about new tricks.
He just pushes me to ride better. He's a lot younger, and I'm older, so it just motivates me to try to keep up with him.
As Austin continues to advance, his father also continues to ride, mainly for one reason.
I don't want to miss out on the fun. Whenever I go with him and see him riding, I've probably been, 6 years? I've been without my bike twice, and it's made every minute turn into an hour and every hour turn into a day. So it's just when you don't have your bike, it's a very long, long day.
Matt continues to support Austin by doing many things.
Just believe in him. You know, don't have a worried look on my face every time he goes to a contest or every time, you know, he goes out and rides and stuff like that. Just believe in him that he's going to be okay and he's going to do a good job and place well.
Austin plans to continue riding and has a few goals set.
Keep riding, maybe get more sponsors and have fun.
For The Deck, I'm Connor Allison.
Babies are cute, no doubt, but they need lots of care and supervision. Freshman Carter Harris experienced this firsthand when her baby brother was born in October, 3 months premature. My partner Mary Adams, Carson Greer, and I visited the Harrises at home.
When I first heard about Sam, I was in 7th period and I got called to the office, and they handed me a slip of paper and told me to call the phone number. And I called it, and my grandmother answered and said that my brother had just been born. I thought they were kidding or something. I was excited because, like, a new brother, but then it kind of hit me that this was 3 months before he was supposed to be born. And just judging by everyone's voices, it was just shocking. Like, I started crying, but I was happy that he was alive, at least to begin with. But I knew that, like, the next however many months, years were just gonna be, like, huge.
I mean, when I held him the first time, his head fit here and his leg, I mean, he fit right here. He was tiny. My husband's wedding ring could fit on his wrist.
My baby brother Sam was just born today, but he is having a hard time and he's almost 3 months premature. Keep fighting, little man. I love you, Sammy. When he was born, it was just like a shock and I had so much doubt. I honestly didn't think he was gonna make it.
He had a hole in his heart, but that's closed. So all the big health problems have not materialized. Now it's more developmental, you know, will he be able to walk? Will he have learning disabilities? That sort of thing.
On Christmas Day, he was supposed to be at home and it turns out he was having heart problems. They told me that I was gonna be able to hold him, and that was like one of the best gifts I've ever gotten. I've waited for this day for so long. Merry Christmas, darling.
We had really hoped he'd be home by Christmas, but so he came home on the 29th. He's just really laid back, easygoing. I don't think he understands what happened to him, but I think the experience definitely had an impression on him. I do think from not being held and snuggled very much, he wants to be touched. These go under his armpits, and then it hooks up to this. And this just counts his breaths and his heartbeat. And so we have that on at night. Every once in a while it still goes off. His heart slows down. It definitely was the hardest thing that I think we've done as a family.
That whole thing caused me a lot of stress and I had a lot of problems in school. And I would come home and I was really agitated with my family.
I think it made us stronger. It made us recognize what's important. It showed us how unbelievably kind people can be.
It's been a long and hard road, Sam. Some days were hard to get through, but you pulled through. You are so tough, and after what seemed like years, we can finally welcome you home. Everyone is so proud of you, Precious.
For many years, Decatur has welcomed tuition students, but with all of the new growth in the school system, Decatur is no longer accepting new tuition applications. Go to 310.org to find out how it is affecting students. This year, yet another head football coach has gone. This time, he's left for other reasons that's close to home. Check out 310.org to see his reasons why. Hurdler Alana Cook's track career at Decatur is coming to an end. We talked to her about what track has meant to her and how she has overcome a chronic disease to earn a track scholarship and have a successful track career. Like 310 Convergence on Facebook so we can let you know when new stories post.
How far would you travel to follow your dreams? Sophomore Callum Newton traveled over 8,000 miles to follow his golfing passion. My partners Connor Trotter, Emma Wheeler, and I investigated how this prodigy is bringing his skills to Decatur.
I was like, pros, beat that. I was like dead center of the fairway.
Sophomore Callum Newton moved from New Zealand to Decatur mid-March of this year. The purpose behind his move was simple. He wanted to take his golfing to the next level.
I started playing golf from my dad and my godfather, really. They introduced me to the game. I've been playing my whole life, so yeah.
And that is the shot.
The golf team has fewer members than other Decatur athletic teams, but even this close group was welcoming to their new player.
He's pretty cool. I like him a lot, and it's especially cool because he's from New Zealand. You know, you don't get to see that a lot. He has a lot of skill. We're playing against a lot of private schools, and sometimes they might think that we're not as good as them, but then we have a lot of good players, and especially Callum will show up and he'll give us an extra edge. I think it'll be good.
As a new student, there are certain requirements that Callum must meet before being eligible as an official Decatur player.
He is not GHSA, Georgia High School Association, approved for eligibility. They have specific rules about transfer students, bona fide moves, long involved rules about custody. We started the procedure getting him eligible with GHSA, and unfortunately that took a little bit longer, or is taking a little bit longer, just due to some paperwork they need, international custody transfer, etc. And hopefully, it'll all get sorted out for next year so he can be a full member of the team.
Though he's in the process of becoming eligible, both Callum and Decatur's golfers are excited for Callum's future membership.
I think he'll definitely make Decatur look a lot better game and match-wise. We'll definitely have I guess, sort of our star player.
I just love playing it. Like, every time I go out and play and I'm on a course, I just feel really good.
For The Deck, I'm Emma Wheeler.
Spring has blossomed, and so have the athletic talents. More of you play on teams in the spring than any other season. My partners from Wall City, Onyx Simpson, and I want to find out why some athletes choose to play a spring sport.
My name is Kyle Drainer, and I play soccer.
So I started playing soccer just for the fun of it. My mom motivated me to, because my mom used to play soccer. A goalie has to communicate a lot, and I wasn't like a big communicator on the field, and I felt like it made me more of like a open person. I was like, I don't know, I could be like more friendly and open to people that I don't know and meeting new people. People mess up on the field, they can always there's someone behind them, but there's nobody behind me. So I'm like the last one. And I think I continued playing soccer because of the people that motivated me, like my friends and my parents. A lot of the times people kind of have problems in school or problems out of school, like at home. And I feel like when you're in a team, like a soccer team or any team really in general, you can talk to them a lot. And I feel like that's something that we do. And when a girl has a problem on our team, we always try and help her out. Even if we're like joking a little bit, we are trying to help her in any way. And it's just like, it's like a family and like another family.
I'm Devin Olson, and I play tennis. And I play tennis because it's fun, and also I've got this thing. It's a blood disorder where basically a scab or a bruise won't clot as well. It's not really a big deal in tennis, but me and my soccer coach, we had to have an actual conversation about it, about like what I could and couldn't do on the field. But I'm still the same player in both sports, like no matter what. My teammates, they know about what happens in my blood and stuff. No, they don't baby me. I'm still one of the guys on the team.
From the tennis court to the baseball field, around the home base, the passion for baseball runs deep.
My name is Liam Foskett, and I play baseball. Well, when I wake up in the morning, I try to remember that I have a game that day. I just start thinking about it immediately when I wake up, and so that it doesn't sneak up on me. And before the game, I always listen to music, just try to get hyped with the team. My parents try to come to every game, but in terms of actually being involved in my baseball career, they sort of step back and let me handle it, which I like because it gives me a sense of like responsibility for who I am as an athlete, and it makes everything I do driven by myself and no one else. We played GAC my freshman year, and we won it in the bottom of the 7th inning on a diving catch by Charlie Shue. Beating a private school always makes you feel good about yourself, and the fact that you come from a public school and you're not as privileged definitely feels good.
For the deck, I'm Wall City.
You believe in ghosts, right?
My partners Emily Schilke, Madeline Rock, and I investigated how the paranormal has touched members of the community, in and out of school. Did you guys just see that?
I do not believe in ghosts.
What is the big deal in believing?
Seeing is believing, but not everyone that deals with the paranormal believes that ghosts exist.
I go ghost hunting because I'm really interested in the paranormal. I've never sat in a room and I've never seen a shadow person. I've never seen an object move on its own. I never saw any of this stuff, and I did, I think, over 100 investigations during this time period.
Others, like Boo Newell, who runs the Decatur Ghost Tour,
Welcome to the Decatur Ghost Tour. I'll be one of your guides tonight.
wholeheartedly accept the idea of otherworldly beings.
Well, I'm a professional psychic medium. I've been working professionally for about 10 or 12 years. I'm very loving. I have a real great fondness for these confused beings, these ghosts. I was petrified as a child, and they were very real to me. They were real. I guess in my 40s I really said, oh, well, there's a reason why I am like this, and they keep coming.
Boo has had to learn how to handle her psychic abilities.
Just work with them with great compassion. Now, I am firm. I mean, if it's their choice if they choose to cross. And people need to realize this. They really don't have that much power. They don't have a body, okay? The human is one with the power in this physical realm.
Humankind's draw towards the paranormal goes back centuries. It goes back as far as we have documented tales of things that go bump in the night. We die, and we have created this concept that when people pass away, we can still contact them some way, shape, or form.
There is a fear that there is nothing beyond the so-called black abyss of death. So I know, my guides have told me a lot of people come on the tour or I'm working with for that connection, that affirmation of an afterlife.
The thought of ghosts among us may seem too absurd for some people.
They don't want to be known as stupid. Their analytical really kicks in and everything, and they close themselves off.
Don't be so quick to think that the paranormal doesn't exist, because there's a possibility that it does. But also don't be so quick to just fall for the tricks of television editing.
For The Deck, I'm Noemi Griffin.
In 2012, Decatur was named one of the tastiest towns in the South by Southern Living magazine, partly because of our diverse restaurant scene that defines the city's identity. My partners, Greg Thomas, Anita Renfro, and I took a look into the culture and flavor of one of Decatur's newest restaurants, Chai Pani.
Serve potato dahi puri.
Serve potato, what is this? Dahi peri, what? What is that?
Papadum plate. Sev potato da puri. Were they right at all?
Although some students are unfamiliar with Indian street food, there's a new place in Decatur that's bringing it from the streets to the restaurant. Chai Pani is offering its own flavor on an already popular restaurant scene. Brand director Michael Files just knew it would be a perfect fit.
A friend of ours who was living in Atlanta tipped us off to this location, and they were like, this is the perfect spot for you guys. We came down the next day, checked it out, and we were like, wow, this is it. This is it. This is what we've been looking for. Indian street was part of my makeup ever since I was a kid, so making the decor in Chai Pani and putting the whole brand together, a lot of people, Indians, think when they see the decor that I must be Indian. When we started Chai Pani, none of us really knew what we were doing. And we hired some guys who, by just a great stroke of luck and a great blessing, one of the very first guys that got hired in the kitchen was Daniel Peach. On his own volition, he actually taught himself Hindi. He can read and write Hindi fluently now.
Someone told me that they're like, when we look at you and you start speaking Hindi, it's literally like if you were looking at your dog and it just started talking. It's like the last thing you expect to hear, from come out of your mouth. And even the customers, they asked to see the chef, and it ended up white guy coming out and speaking Hindi with them. And 99% of the time, people were just so loving and sweet, and always thanked me that I took the time to learn Hindi and took interest in their culture.
People come in here and they're like, we're all these white people that are like, running this Indian restaurant, or for that matter, African American, Mexican, You know, it's like all these, and then Indians too. We have Indians in the kitchen, Indians in the front of the house. It's like this melting pot of ethnicities, but we all have this love for India.
For the deck, I'm Anita Renfro.
The owners opened the original Chai Pani in Asheville and said that Decatur was the first place outside of North Carolina where they felt confident their concept would work.
We close today with our seniors looking back on their high school years. Class of 2013, congratulations, we made it. And everyone else, have a great last week of school. The new broadcast crew will see you next year on The Deck.
Underclassmen. Can't live with them, can't live without them. But the question is, do our seniors love them or hate them? What do they think about the underclassmen?
I hate you all. Not really.
Pretty rough, honestly. It's like unwashed hair, just like kind of like the grease and the grime.
They're cute.
Yeah, they're cute. The girls are cute.
In a few years.
In a few years, they'll be smoking.
They are an unruly collection of small mammals.
No respect.
Yeah, no respect.
They get kicked out of school way too much.
I think all the underclassmen do too much.
Over the course of 4 years, a lot can happen. But what's the main thing that sticks out in our seniors' heads? What's their best memory?
Successfully being last place in homecoming floats every single year, for sure.
Cheerleading and going to the games.
I don't know, I like Spad's class.
Yeah, I like Spad's class a lot.
My best memory is probably all the late night trips to Waffle House with like all those different groups of people, because it always works no matter who you're with.
I know my most favorite moment.
Yeah, you go first.
When I threw a pencil at Mr. DeWeese.
That's a good one.
And I got suspended for 5 days.
Mr. Bezo stapling his head.
Probably just like any assembly sitting next to Brandon ever is great.
Junior year when I had a milk carton thrown at my table and a big girl almost beat up my whole table.
But I had a big crush on Diamond Peril. So one day I said, YOLO, only live once. So I went to a snack line, bought her ice cream. I said, I'm gonna give it to her. But I put that little 9 in my stomach, so I said I couldn't do it. So I gave it to one of my senior friends, I think it was Big Patillo. Gave it to him. He walked over to Diamond, gave her the ice cream. And yeah, I felt like a boss for about 15 seconds until I found out what she said.
I don't want the ice cream. I don't want it. I'm sorry.
Memories. The good, the bad, and the awkward. What's their most awkward moment?
I was chasing somebody and I didn't know it was some water right there on the floor. And I ran and I fell backwards and it was really loud.
I completely forgot my TED essay in front of Mr. P's class.
Freshman year.
Yeah, the whole thing.
10-month period was pretty bad.
I was trying to go to the athletic center and Miss Lofstrand was taking people, but I was too tired to actually say words, so I just said nonsense and everyone laughed at me.
Every time that I've walked into a stairwell to find couples making out.
Sometimes I like to throw away people's trash in the cafeteria. And once I had a big pile of trays and it all fell over.
Even though each student is unique, there is something that unites every class. What will 2013 be remembered for?
I think we want to be remembered for our mob mentality.
That time that we tried to boycott school and got locked out of school.
Wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
I think mostly we're really naive. We thought, oh, they can't put us all in ISS, but then they put everyone in ISS for mob mentality.
The senior class wants to be remembered as the most athletic, the most fun, and just the best class in general, because we are.
Being the last of the old.
The spirit that we had.
The traditions that we kept going.
Yeah, definitely mob mentality.
Mob mentality. Bat mitzvahs. We don't take things too serious.
I am going to Converse College.
I'm going to Georgia Southern.
I'm going to Bard.
I'm going to Oxford.
I am going to Savannah College of Art and Design.
I'm going to Florida State.
I'm going to Emory.
I'm going to Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado, but I will always be a Bulldog.